Hi folks, today we're working on fixing this leaking sink strainer. As you can see, it's kind of moving around a little bit. I'll go under the sink and show you what it looks like. You can see the movement. And the interesting problem here is this particular flange, or the nut, is just kind of loose and moving around. So we're going to replace the entire assembly, and I'll get back to you in a second. The parts I used are shown here, and they cost a total of $52, and the whole project time was about 30 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is try to undo the actual sink to the drain connection. Have someone take the whole thing out. Pull it out. There it goes. So we took out the old strainer and I cleaned it up as best as I could from the top and the bottom. So what we're doing in this instance is a bit different installation. So I've actually already attached the tailpiece to the new sink strainer to make it easier to install. And actually in this kit, a rubber gasket came along. So I took out this particular piece, which usually sits at the top of the tailpiece, and replaced it with the rubber gasket. And you can kind of see that rubber gasket at the bottom of the strainer here. And now we're going to go ahead and get this thing ready to install with the plumber's putty. So now we're going to take the plumber's putty to make a seal around this area, which is going to attach to the top of the sink. This is about a $2 container of plumber's putty. We're going to take about a third of it and start rolling it out. So I took about a third out and just rolling it. It's a little bit too much, it's okay. Take that, go around like that, cut it off. Okay. Then we press it down. And then when we screw this down, the excess is gonna just ooze out and we're gonna remove it. That's what it looks like at this point. So I put this in now and I pushed it down and just manually pushed it down, and some of the putty is oozing out, as you can see. Now we're gonna go to the bottom and start assembling it from down there. All right, so this is what it looks like from under the sink. Removing some of the extra putty that's oozed out from down here. And then I'm going to start putting in first the rubber gasket, straight up, then the metal washer, and then we're going to start screwing in the actual flange. Make it finger tight. And at this point, we should be seeing even more putty coming out from the top. So let's take a look at that. All right, so this is what it looks like at the top now. You can see even more putties oozed out. And I think basically at this point, we can just start screwing in the flange to make it tight. Go on. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're just screwing in the flange a little bit more. Do all three sides pretty much evenly if you can. Good enough. Now I'm going to reattach the P-trap. Alright, now we're going to do some leakage tests. Okay, the first test we're going to do is by putting in the first thing we're actually going to do is clean up the extra putty. And then we're going to fill up the bowl with water and see what it looks like. Test. Now we're going to take a look here. No leaks around the top, totally dry. No leaks here. This is just connected all nice and clean. Shut this off. And no leaks on drain. So this job is done. One last thing I'd like to show you is the sink stopper in itself. As you can see, I pretty much filled up the sink in a pretty deep sink. No leaks at all. The sink stopper works by essentially friction fit. It basically has this rubber gasket on the stopper and it works really well. Overall, I'm very happy with the Kohler Duostrainer. It costs about $49, which is much more expensive than, say, the cheapest strainers at Home Depot, which are around $25. But you can just tell by the construction, the weight, and actually the better installation process, and I think the actually much more long-lasting installation process. This should last a long time, and it's highly recommended. Thank you.